gentlemen, welcome back to another night of iRacing action here on the National Racing Network, where tonight the stars and cars of the Sim Racers Club are going to run an event that, quite frankly, I am excited to be bringing you. I know my co-host for the night, Mr. Patrick Byrne, is jacked up to be bringing you as well. It is the Bizzle Bowl 200 for the Sim Speed Shop Premier Series of the Sim Racers Club. There it is. That logo is absolutely beautiful.
Fantastic work, logo.
200 laps coming to you tonight from the Bristol Motor Speedway. Stages at lap number 40 and lap number 90, and perhaps the biggest news of all is the prize. Bizzle, you've done the math. What is tonight's race winner taking home?
Tonight's race winner will be taking home 480 packets of instant ramen, chicken flavor instant ramen. No, I believe we were getting the lime chili shrimp.
Oh God, that's even worse.
I believe that one we can get 480 of. The regular chicken we can only get 240 of, which is not a big enough prize for the Bizzle Bowl 200.
I might put up the extra cash just so we don't have to. Somebody's not just going to be throwing away 450 packets of chili lime shrimp flavored ramen. Oh my God, that just sounds terrible. Actually, with the amount of sodium that's in those things, we could probably call it a lifetime supply of ramen, because if you eat all of it, you're probably going to die.
Yeah, no, you should definitely not eat those every day. Frankly, I don't think you should eat them at all, but they're pretty good when you just want something to eat, like a minute and a half.
Oh, God, yeah, it just sounds absolutely terrible. Qualifications are underway. Let's bring up a couple of Will Worsler racing guys. The boss man, Will Worsler, up on the big screen. And you'll see the names pop up on your screen as laps start to get set. Johnny Avila down there in the lower right-hand corner of the screen. Will Worsler will be your fastest lap at a 14.731. Johnny Avila only 6 1/1000ths back. Daniel Pinkston, Kevin Dick, Lee Campbell, the top 5 as they stand right now. Lap number 2 on the board for Worsler is good. Avila's even faster, 14.587. 14.587 seconds. Identical lap times for Avila and Will Worsler. Triple zeros on the
Will
gap
Worsler
there.
driving injured tonight. We'll save you the details, but dealing with a right foot injury tonight. Still, that man is determined to get some ramen noodles tonight. Maybe him and Nikki can make a big dinner for everyone, or maybe do some work around the house, fixing up some cabinets, just like the viral videos.
They might be more beneficial as plaster, quite frankly. Let's take a look here. We'll bring up Tyler Seville as he is whipping his way around the race course. Bristol Motor Speedway, a half-mile in length. The world's last great coliseum. In the real world, this place is covered in dirt at the moment for this weekend's NASCAR Cup Series festivities. Also, the Craftsman Truck Series will be there. I had to think about that one, what the series sponsor name was for that one.
I got to get in touch with some of the guys I know with some of the NASCAR teams out there and get some new decals for my truck. I still have the Gander Outdoors Series decals on my truck.
Oh, that's awesome. Tyler Seville, by the way.
My real-world daily driver.
I am thoroughly disappointed in Tyler Seville. Only going 0.003 of a second slow. He couldn't be Heinz Harold Frentzen and make it a 3-way tie for the top spot.
Tyler Seville is on a mission to finish second tonight. He does not want 480 packets of ramen noodles.
Yeah, he made that pretty clear to us in the pre-race.
We might see some shenanigans on the white flag lap.
No,
you sir, please go.
Yeah, we're gonna have drivers throwing this race just because they don't want 400 million packets of ramen noodles. Still
Now,
down.
I don't have any of their addresses yet. They could just not give it to me, but that defeats the
Oh,
fun
God,
of it.
that's even better. Johnny Avila could win this race and give you Tyler Seville's address to send the prize to.
Oh my goodness. I would love that.
That would be beautiful. John Moeller on the racetrack getting his qualification run in. He's going to be 14th quick. How about Hunter Waters, done qualifications and 16th, a full second off the pace here tonight.
If he finds a way to manage his way through this field and win this race, we need to find some pickle-flavored ramen to send him.
Maybe that's what we'll do. We'll just make it the prize of $50 worth of pickle-flavored ramen. Looks like AJ Digby will be complete his qualification run as well, and still 5 minutes and 40 seconds remaining on the qualifications clock. Want to remind everybody about all of these sponsors that we have here for the Sim Racers Club. And they include Sim Speed Shop. Find them online at simspeedshop.com. Putting up a pile of prizes here for our individual series champions, 3 12-week champions, plus the overall 36-week champion. Picking up some hardware. Find them online at simspeedshop.com. Northland Leisure putting up the cash for the stage winners. Realty Executives Saskatoon handling the dollars. I'm not sure if they're Canadian or American dollars, but that money's going out the door for the fastest lap award. Custom Paints and Diecast putting up the cash for the hard charger, and the biggest loser over the course of the race event here to this evening. And you'll see all of those logos up there in the corner of your, down there in the lower right-hand corner of the screen. Actually, I'm going to have to move them. They're going to have to go over to the lower left because they'll be covering up our big box here. So we'll move these guys up to the top corner here, so you don't miss any of the side-by-side action as well. But again, big thank you to Sam, the Jordans, everybody that makes these Sim Racers Club events possible. We truly appreciate it. Whole lot coming up for you the rest of the week here on NRN as well. 4 big races coming up tomorrow afternoon. Lotus 49s at 3:30 in the East. That will be from Laguna Seca. I don't even remember which title sponsor it is now. Don't even care either because they're not paying us to say their name.
We'll just call it Monterey.
Yeah, Laguna Seca, what it should be called. While we have a moment here also, let's make sure we take a look and show you our championship standings here. Johnny Avila sitting on 294 markers is your points leader. Kevin Dick, Hunter Waters, Tyler Seville, and Troy Haight complete the top 5. 6 through 10 will be Andrew Moore Jr., Lee Campbell, Richard Smith II, Richard Fletcher, and Will Worsler. 11 through 20 will be A.J. Digby. Tim Knott, 13th, belongs to Tony Patton. The drivers that are blank are drivers that are not entered in the race here this evening. 14th, Thomas Wilhite, and 15th is Daniel Pinkston. But basically, looks like it could be a 2-horse race here for the championship, especially, Bizzle, looking at the fact that we are through race 6 already into the second half of this spring season schedule.
Yeah, time has been flying this season. I was looking back to the beginning of this season when I first signed up for the road course races, thinking they're so far away. Next week, we're at the Daytona Road Course with the wonderful chicane that everybody loves so much that I'm still having trouble with. I've turned probably 1,000 laps now, and it's about a 1 in 3 shot I blow that chicane still. It just sneaks up on you.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it, but it is the NASCAR appropriate layout, so that's what we're going to run here in the Sim Racers Club. Following next week's race, the second off week of the spring season on April 19th. Then we will come back with an event at Martinsville Speedway, sponsored by Andrew Moore Jr. Follow that up with 75 laps at Talladega Super Speedway, first weekend in May. And then we round out the spring season with events at Dover and Kansas. Interesting that we don't have a race length on the event for next week as well. So we'll check in with the admin team here and make sure what we got there. But down to 1 minute and 10 seconds left in qualifying. Everybody's done, but this is something I like they do here in the Sim Racers Club, Patrick. They don't advance the session once everybody's done qualifying. They tell you got 10 minutes. That means you have 10 minutes. So if you need to get up, use the restroom, grab yourself a beverage, maybe a little power bar or something, you know you have that time window. It's not like you have to be planted in the rig before you're going to be sitting in the rig for 90 minutes to 2 hours.
Yeah, net break especially helps a lot of drivers. I know I like to just get up before a real long race stretch. I'm in VR most of the time, so I do like to take off the VR headset, get some fresh air over my eyes, cool down for a minute, because it gets hot in that thing. I'm not sure how many drivers tonight are in VR, but it can get to a real endurance race very quickly. Even if you're just running a sprint, it gets pretty toasty.
Yeah, that's kind of putting it mildly, I think, a little bit here. But it'll be interesting to see, especially with this race tonight being a 40-lap and 90-lap stage and a 200-lap total distance. Lap 40, as we've gotten the word here from race control, stage 1 at lap 40 will not have a caution. So what that means is these drivers are going to have to try to stretch these tires potentially 90 laps. I don't know that it could get to a point where maybe the undercut is the ideal way to go here tonight.
That could prove especially true at Bristol. It's not like some of the other tracks where you have a ton of lap, ton of speed, and you can keep up that momentum. Here at Bristol, you're at a very short track. Laps tick off very quickly, so if you pit taking the undercut, you could pit 10 laps earlier than someone and grab a huge advantage over them.
Yeah, it's going to be one to watch here for sure, but let's bring up our starting grid for tonight's race. Johnny Avila will be lining up alongside Will Worsler. Tyler Seville and Andrew Moore Jr. occupying row number 2. How about that front row, though? 0.000 separating Avila and Worsler here at the head of the field. Row number 3 will have Braden Carroll and A.J. Digby. Got to go all the way back 6 positions to find 1/10 of a second in qualifications. Tim Knott and Daniel Pinkston on row number 4. Row 5 will have Kevin Dick and Troy Hay. A lot of ground for Kevin Dick to have to make up here at Bristol. If Johnny Avila can keep that 63 machine at the head of the field, could be a big points night for Johnny if he's able to hold on at the front. Tom Wilhite lining up alongside Lee Campbell on row number 6. Row 7 will have Richard Fletcher and John Moeller. And shotgun on the field, J.D. Wardlow and Hunter Waters. I think Hunter Waters may be attempting to pull off the Hard Charger Award tonight, as Tyler Seville already getting up on the bumper of Johnny Avila before we even get off of pit road.
Now, could we see I didn't mean to wreck him, I just meant to rattle his cage moment tonight from Johnny Avila driving those legendary colors?
I could be having, they're already playing tag at the front of the field here. Tough
Looks
break.
like a Fastmaster start.
Yeah, really. A little bit of an issue here for Richard Smith II, saying Showtime Racing will not be in attendance due to power outages and ice storms. Tough break there for Richard Smith. Hope you and your family stay well. Quite frankly, a lot of severe weather all over the country here. Stay safe, people. Stay well. Tyler Seville and Johnny Avila are still all over the place.
I don't wreck when I do this.
Can confirm.
James Watson, I hope you're watching.
No, he's not watching. He's driving in a league somewhere.
Oh, that's right. It's RIL Crap Wagon night. that is where James Watson is tonight. Driving the IR05 around some miserable circuit.
Sounds about right. Fields making their way off of turn number 4. Green flag about to go in the air. Enjoy this one, race fans. Starts to be Will Worsler leading lap number 1. Those guys are going to practically stay side by side.
I thought Will Worsler was injured. He said he wasn't going to win this race.
Allegedly, Will Worsler was hurt. Based on what the injury he described, he is injured. I guess just making a gutsy run here early on. Andrew Moore Jr. getting to the high side of Johnny Avila. You have to wonder, though, Patrick, if you're going to try to make these tires last that full 90 laps, you almost have to go slow right from the very beginning.
Yeah, I wonder if there was an update to the tire model. I see Johnny Avila running the line that he taught me around this great racetrack. But I wonder if there's an update to the tire model. Now the high line wears the tires less. It seems faster. It's always been faster after the 2007 repave. But that low line down there seems to preserve the tires a little bit better. Maybe that's what Johnny Avila and Tyler Seville are trying to do.
Well, we've also talked about the fact that you really have to let these tires come in. You can't push them really, really hard those first 5 or 6 laps. Oh, as Daniel Pinkston bounces that car off the outside wall. That was a big hit into the safer barrier. You just can't push these things. If you push them too hard, they're going to turn into rocks, and you're just going to be garbage for the second half of your run. A little bit of early slow is good for the tire conservation.
Yeah, it's one thing I've almost had to relearn now that I'm getting back into the stock cars with the Gen 4 car coming out, is you really have to baby the tires at the beginning of the run. Right when the car is fastest and you want to go, you have to baby it. Otherwise, you're just driving a dump truck or a spin machine, a tornado machine, in the theme of weather across the country this past week. Yeah, you can screw these things up badly in the first 5 laps.
We saw this 1 week ago. Brandon Carroll making a big run, big charge to the front early on. But by the second half of the run, that car was just a pile of hot garbage. Well, quite frankly, the car was. The Goodyears were hot garbage. He's going to make the big dive on Andrew Moore into 3. Oh, just barely gets him clear off the corner, too. Bring up the side-by-side here because A.J. Digby and Kevin Dick are going to war, as this battle here at the front is staying really good. Showing the battle here between Braden Carroll, your race leader, and second place Will Worsler. Sitting right about 2/10 now. Oh, car length and a half, maybe 2 car lengths as they work their way through turn number 1. I am really interested to see that this high line has come in and is as quick as it is. Usually we're used to seeing cars down around the bottom of the racetrack.
It's always been this way. It's very hard to run up there consistently, but it's always been faster on the high line. I remember I almost got my first NIS win way back in 2016 here in Bristol. And it was the same thing. You could run the high line the whole race, and it was super fast. And we get around to about 2 laps to go, and my computer decides to mark it and just crash. I was leading that whole freaking race. It's like, are you kidding me? But yeah, the high line is always fantastic here at Bristol. And sometimes you get a great race where there's cars on the high side, cars on the low side. You're battling too wide for dozens of laps at a time. But recently in iRacing, we've seen them be low-line races or high-line races, depending on what update the tires are on. I'm happy to see that we've got cars on both lines tonight.
Yeah, and in fact, good battles at various points on the racetrack as well. The big box has the 41 of Tim Knott, followed by Lee Campbell and Daniel Mason. The little box has Andrew Jr. and Kevin Dick. That's the two guys out of the Pie-Eyed Racing stable. You have to wonder, the Will Worsler guys can work together. I would imagine the Pie-Eyed guys can do a little bit of that here as well.
Pie-Eyed guys can work together, and I would almost say better so than the Will Worsler guys, because it's just the two of them. It's Kevin Dick and Andrew Moore. So there's two-way communication right there. You're not trying to talk over a bunch of other people. You're not relaying a message and wondering who's going to get it, if it's going to be the wrong person intercepting that message. So I would say the communication is almost better. And having raced those guys during the Winter Series when we ran the trucks here, those guys are a force to be reckoned with if you're trying to pass both of them at the same time. Both of them are fast. Both of them are up front in the points. Kevin Dick currently second in points, and Andrew Moore Jr. I believe is in the top 5 for points. So neither of them slouches here in the Sim Racers Club.
Yeah, Kevin Dick moving himself up to the second position as well, getting around Will Worsler. Andrew Moore Jr. not quite as fast getting around that car. Something else that we I don't know that we say it's something to harp on, but when you have a field that's as deep and talented as this Sim Racers Club field is, if you go without yellows, even 200 laps at Bristol happens incredibly fast. 30 laps into the run basically, and we're still seeing laps in the 15 flat area out of Braden Carroll and Kevin Dick. You're talking about turning 4 laps every minute.
Yeah, these guys are exceptionally talented, and it's definitely something, if you're one of the new guys to this series, or maybe not up there with the front runners, it's something that kind of sticks in the back of your head. That's kind of what I went into when I joined the series in the Winter Series is, you know, when you join a session on iRacing, it shows you the average strength of field, and normally I bring that number up. And here in the Sim Racers Club, I brought that average way down. I'm sitting there like, holy crap, these guys are good. Where some of these guys, John Field doesn't even practice for these. He hops in, gets about 2 hours of practice, qualifies, goes out, and runs up front. I was sitting there all week long from the time the race ended to the time the next week's race started, practicing and putting out top 5 finishes. I wasn't even winning.
Oh, Will Worsler bounces it off the outside, safer barrier. That's going to let Andrew Moore come through. Johnny Avila now having to peek down to the inside. Seeing Johnny Avila, a 55.83 I-rating driver, which is quite frankly just
a little over double what I've got.
Yeah, that's just like, that's kind of silly numbers at this point.
Almost hit 3,000 last season.
Another driver that I am really interested in keeping an eye on here is Tyler Seville. In the number 11, we've talked a lot about the fact that there is nobody better in this league at saving tires than Tyler Seville. AJ Digby just ahead of him on the fuel number. If I'm Tyler Seville, I know if I can trail AJ Digby close enough, I'm going to make my fuel number. And I can work on just saving tires. That puts you in a great position to have an extra set left at the end of the in the box at the end of the race.
Yeah, you can see him. He's running right there, about half a line off the bottom. That's right where you want to be to save tires. The fastest ways around this track is either run right with your left sides, right where the pavement turns black, or run the right sides right against that wall. Anywhere in the middle, you're saving tires.
Yeah, it's just kind of nature of the beast stuff here. Braden Carroll holding a lead of 1.6 seconds over Andrew Moore Jr. But let's pick up your race leader because we are down to just 2 laps to go here. Well, now 1 lap to go in stage number 1. Green and white checkered flag will go in the air in stage number 1. Very, very quickly it goes to Braden Carroll.
Now we are going to get a caution at lap 90, which is going to split this race almost in half. So is the strategy to stay out all the way to lap 90? I'm pretty sure they can make it on the fuel pretty comfortably out to there and just make this a one-stop race.
There you see the graphic from race control. Stage number 2 will be lap number 90, and it will have a stage break caution attached to it. And incredibly, we're already almost to the halfway point of being there. It'll be 45 laps complete and 45 to go until we get to that stage break. Looking through the field here, let's pick up this fight back in the pack. Will Worsler, Tim Knott, and Troy Hayden. That's one of the better battles. The other good one happening just a little bit back from them, Daniel Pinkston battling with Tom Wilhite.
Yeah, you can see Pinkston's getting a much better exit off, but Tom Wilhite is just so much better in the mid-corner. He gets that car real up high, really in the mid-corner, just making it all up.
Slide forward here, pick up AJ Digby and Tyler Seville. These guys are fighting for the 5th position. I would imagine, and doing the whole knock it on wood thing, as I say that we have not had a caution flag yet, Patrick. This is one of those deals where you now can get, you're into your rhythm. I would imagine you could probably do a fair bit of tire management here as well. You're starting to feel it go away a little bit. Just back the corner up even farther than you have been.
Yeah, Bristol is a great rhythm track. Any of the short tracks really are. The pretty symmetrical ones. Even though Bristol's not symmetrical, the way you drive it, it feels pretty symmetrical. And you find your markers there in the corner. You're in turn 1, right at that Food City sign. And during the beginning of the run, you start turning right when that sign ends. Towards the end of the run, you start turning right where that blue marker is, right there in the city logo. And down there, there's another logo as well that you look for. And really, you just look for that turn. It's very, very repetitive.
Yeah, you're kind of making your marks, hitting your spots, and watch out. Well, absolutely. Now it's the outside safety.
It's almost therapeutic. Last night I did a 200-lap AI race in the modifieds at the LA Coliseum, which they should throw the cup cars away there. No, it's fantastic. They should not race the cup cars there for the Clash. They should give all the cup drivers modifieds and go run them at the Coliseum because it was fantastic.
That would be awesome.
And it was just therapeutic. Just hit the gas, hit the brake, turn, hit the gas and brake, turn 400 times. And it only took about 45 minutes to run 200 laps there. We were running about 8-second laps, so it was a lot of fun.
Coming around, Daniel Pinkston, who again makes some contact with the outside safety barrier. The steel and foam energy reduction system. NASCAR loves to lay claim to that stuff, but originally developed out of the University of Nebraska in concert with the Indy Racing League. Oh, evil Tony George, the worst human in the history of IndyCar racing, apparently. Depending on who you ask. Oh, as Carroll goes around! That was Braden Carroll, the race leader. Yellow flag is out on the speedway.
Did he get help, or just was he pushing a little too hard?
Well, let's take a look here. Go back to the pass for the lead. This is where Kevin Dick got around Braden Carroll. Then, let's slide up here. Johnny Avila went to work on Carroll. Oh, well, there we go. A little bit of a kiss onto the outside wall. But Avila able to come past. So we're seeing this here.
What I'm seeing is he burnt up his tires. I'm just wondering if there was contact that caused the incident, or has to check up real early here for some lap traffic.
Oh, there it is.
Checked up really hard in an awkward spot. AJ Digby just carrying too much momentum to let it go. And that's Bristol. That's fair play. I mean, it's a full contact racetrack, and unfortunately, Braden Carroll got the wrong end of it.
Yeah, dipsy-do puntaroo there for AJ Digby on Braden Carroll. Now, that was not necessarily a punt as in I'm angry at you, but it's still, that was actually a rattling the cage moment. If you want to call it what it is, he wasn't trying to wreck him, just trying to rattle his cage a little.
I'm not sure he was even trying to rattle his cage. He just had one hell of a run and decided I'm not getting rid of it.
Basically. Now, the other part that's interesting here, Kevin Dick and Andrew Moore Jr., his teammates, we will have the choose rule in effect here when we come around to the 1-to-go signal. So these drivers will be able to choose inside lane or outside lane. If you're the Pie-Eyed Racing teammates, well, but here's where my question lies, though. The race leader chooses when to go. Do you run Kevin Dick on the inside for the restart, Andrew Moore Jr. on the outside, and basically just when Kevin Dick decides to go, Andrew Moore just breathes the throttle for a split second, gives him enough room to get up top?
That is a good point. However, I'm kind of curious what the pair behind them do.
Yeah, we got the Will Worsler Racing teammates behind them.
So Kevin Dick and Andrew Moore are going to choose the low side. That was kind of flip-flopping the point I was about to make. Johnny Avila and Tyler Seville have both been fantastic on the low side tonight, so it's going to be fun to see Dick on the inside and Avila on the outside.
Yeah, and Tyler Seville electing to take the inside lane, so he's going to fall from 4th to 5th. Will Worsler going to gain a couple of spots in the exchange, because Andrew Moore also giving up a spot to stay on the inside. Johnny Avila going to restart on the outside here as we're going to come back to green at lap number 63. Good restart for Kevin Dick. He is able to control this one, and he will run whatever lane he wants to. Don't look now. Here comes Johnny Avila. Big head of steam on the outside.
Yeah, Kevin Dick not able to move up and get the full entry into turn 2. So, or excuse me, turn 3. There's no turn. It's an over. Johnny Avila going to safely take the lead here and run away with it a little bit. We're seeing the message from race control now that AJ Digby has claimed that incident. He did take the EOL on the restart, so no harm, no foul.
Yeah, just heads to the back of the longest line. Already back up to the 10th position is AJ Digby. Of note, under that caution flag, Richard Fletcher electing to come down pit lane and take tires. Lee Campbell doing an 8.3-second stop. That may have been fuel only. John Muller doing a 40-second repair job. 14.9 second stop there for John Muller. J.D. Wardlow still on pit lane. He will be the first car out of the race here this evening. Johnny Avila holding on to the race lead. The great fight right now between Will Worsler and Andrew Moore Jr. Worsler practically going hail-melon through the corners. But I think here, Patrick, we're seeing that difference in tires. Will Worsler ran up front, pushed a little bit to get there. He lost the spot to Moore. Now he's going to lose another spot to Tyler Seville.
Yeah, I wonder if the tires are junk or if he's just starting to feel the burn, I guess, in his right foot. And not able to modulate the throttle as well as he normally can.
That's a good point. If the right foot is not feeling good, this is not a real happy place, especially with how tight these race cars are. The drivers were talking about them being ridiculously tight in the early parts of the run, and it was only getting worse the longer the car was.
Yeah, and when the car gets really, really tight, you do have to play with the throttle a lot. You kind of set your steering where it's going to be and use the throttle to turn the car. You pull out of the throttle, maybe trail the brake a little bit to get the car to turn in. To get the throttle to push it out to the outside. And if you're just not able to have the full foot control, that can be very tough to do. It's more like an on-off switch than it is a pedal.
Which already, that's a difficult thing to do in the world of sim racing, where it's just so tempting. Unless you have like the big load cell pedals and all the really expensive stuff, you're kind of just pushing against a little resistance spring in some of the older gear. It's really easy to just put your foot all the way down to the floor and expect the car to go where you have it to.
Yeah, and that was the hardest thing. Ooh, man.
The shove up the racetrack from the teammates. Sorry, buddy.
That's all good. I was going to say, it's the hardest thing for me when I switched to load cell pedals. I had to modify them, put some softer springs in there. I actually have a soft spring on top and then a stiff spring at the bottom. Just so I can get some pedal travel to it, because my brain was so wired for that pedal travel that I couldn't turn that switch off. And it's something that's very, very difficult to get used to. But it does give you a lot finer control of where the race car is going, where you want it to point, and how you're driving it.
I would imagine it's a bit of an adjustment as well, because it's intended to make it feel like you're driving a car. However, you don't get any of the sensory feedback that you get with a real car, whether it's a road car or a race car. You hit the gas, the car kind of pushes you back a little bit. You hit the brakes, you go a little forward in the seat. That just doesn't happen in sim racing unless you got one of like the crazy motion races. But that has to be a bit of an adjustment.
Oh, absolutely. And one thing that I learned about when I was going to tech school about the NVH training is the best tool you have is your ASSO-meter. It was kind of a funny name is what we called it, but it's the best descriptor for it. What you feel in the seat of your pants is exactly what that car is doing. That's why kart racing is the best to get into if you want to get into racing, because you learn all of the ASSO-meter as quickly as humanly possible. Every sensation in that car, whether you hit a bump in the road, whether you turn the wheel, no matter what happens, you feel it in the seat of your pants.
Yeah, they have no suspension, solid axles, the whole bit. About the best learning tool there is in the world of racing is driving a flat car.
But yeah, even the pedal travel thing, you get so wired to how far you have to push the pedal. Even in a road car with power brakes and vacuum assist, your brake pedal moves. And when I first got my 1988 Thunderbird Turbo Coupe, before they had the vacuum pumps and all that other stuff, it doesn't have power brakes. That brake pedal doesn't move. So it was a huge adjustment even driving that car to slow down for stop signs. The pedal's not moving, and you kind of have to put both feet on it and get that thing to stop.
Yeah, you're putting, it is literally how much pressure can you put out of your foot onto the pedal. That's going to determine, quite frankly, how quickly you stop. Now, following this battle here for the third position.
Dick riding the wall, running that Chastain line, and it doesn't seem to have hurt him too much. He was maintaining with Tyler Seville going down the straightaway, but he's going to want to bring it single file here now.
Yeah, they're going to have to get in line because we are down to just a couple of laps to go here in stage number 2. Braden Carroll picking up the win in stage number 1. Stage number 2 looks like it's going to go to this man, Johnny Avila, with a 1.7 second lead over Andrew Moore Jr. Lap number 90 goes up on the board. Next time by, Avila will see the green and white checkered flag. Off of turn number 4, checkered in the air, and Johnny Avila picks up the win in Northland Leisure, stage number 2. Now the caution flag will come out, and we will see everybody on pit road. Having to get really woed up here for the iRacing safety truck.
Yeah, usually the pace truck does what it did just there and steps on the throttle and goes ungodly fast, almost IRO1 fast to pass the field. And he just wasn't.
But now they're going to be all packed up here, and pits lane will open next time by at lap number 94. Little things, Bizzle, but that basically extends the caution by a lap as well. Everybody is required to enter off of basically turn 2. You have to go all the way down the backstretch pits at pit road speed limit, and then you'll come back out sort of onto the apron, and then you'll run your way around the racetrack and then on to the front stretch pits.
Yeah, I've never been fond of this version. Actually, it is the under yellow rules that you have to run the whole way around, but I've never been fond of it. I've always liked there's one pit road on the front stretch, one pit road on the back stretch. If you qualify in the top half of the field, you get the good pits on the front stretch. If you don't, you get the bad pits on the back stretch. It's always been some unique quirk about this track. It's always been something fun about it. And by making it all one big pit lane, I don't know how much I like it.
Well, the rationale behind that is it goes back to the old days of NASCAR. Martinsville Speedway used to have a very similar configuration. The problem was when you pit on the back straightaway, you were at a distinct disadvantage when pitting under caution because you had to, everybody that was pitted on the front stretch was priority in line at pit exit. So if you pit on the backstretch, you basically went an entire lap at pit road speed, whereas the guys on the front stretch could just accelerate and catch back up to the pace car. The guys pitted on the backstretch had to wait for the pace car to come by. It was the biggest possible screw job you could get was being the first guy to pit on the backstretch pits. So they went to the rule that says everybody is going to pit and have to go the long way, basically.
I don't know. I'm not opposed to the old style of doing it. That's one thing. Maybe I look at it rose-colored glasses, but it prioritized the importance of qualifying, getting to choose your pit box. For today, it really only matters for the guy who qualifies on pole. Do you want pit box number 1? And at places like Talladega, do you want pit box number 17? Everywhere else sucks. But back when we had the split pit lanes, it was, hey, you qualify in the top half of the field, you get the pit with the Golden Boys on the front stretch.
Yeah, I kind of see the merits of both ways. It was a way of, in theory, making it fair for everybody. But I can see the whole put a little emphasis on qualifying. But qualifying's over. Races is on. Green flag back in the air for stage number 3 here at Bristol. And these drivers will now have to go to the end. 97 of 200 laps are complete. everybody does have one set of tires left in the box as Andrew Moore Jr. battling with Tyler Seville. Actually, we should be able to show. Now, this does not have the stage points, but looking at the points as they run, Johnny Avila moving up to 342 versus 318 for Kevin Dick. That becomes almost a full race gap distance between these guys, Patrick. Knowing where we're headed to next with the road course, and then we still have to go to Talladega as well. A lot of room for Johnny Avila to have an issue, but this certainly becomes one of those deals where it could be his championship to lose.
Yeah, and that's the way it was last season, and inevitably he ended up winning the championship last season. Sorry for the spoiler if you haven't caught up yet. It's been like 6 months. But it was tight, because Johnny took a, 2-week vacation? He went down to Aruba or somewhere crazy, and missed a bunch of races and allowed Kevin Dick to take the lead over him, and all of a sudden the championship that was his to lose, he had to claw back for it.
Yeah, he had to go to work. In fact, he got engaged on the beach in Mexico a day earlier than he planned, so he could be in the commentary booth with me that night. Not upset the new fiance by saying, hey, hon, I'm going to play pretend race cars while we're on vacation. Oh, a little bit of right side romance from Andrew Moore.
Andrew Moore Jr. putting up the fight against Johnny Avila. Andrew Moore, I'll tell you what, that guy must love his ramen, because we did warn him what the prize for winning this race was. Johnny Avila has no idea.
Oh, that's true. Johnny Avila was not informed of what the prize is. And then the question also becomes, how many packets of ramen can we buy in Canadian dollars? Both of these guys, or at least Johnny Avila is from Canada. Kevin Dick also from Canada. That's the other one I'm thinking of.
Oh yeah, I was going to say, if Andrew Moore's from Canada, he might just give us Kevin Dick's address and send it over there. But Andrew Moore is actually fairly local to us. He's from Eastern Pennsylvania as well. We can hand deliver him 480 packets of ramen.
By saving on shipping costs, we can get an entire pallet.
We could do it like Publishers Clearinghouse style, like do a whole live broadcast.
Hi, Andrew. We're going to broadcast the race from your living room. I'll tell you what, though.
Show up with the balloons, big check.
This is a guy who had a little bit of cartoon Anvil playing against him here at various points towards the end of last season and even early this season. A ton of outright pace in that 77 machine. Finally getting to see it tonight here at the front of the field in Bristol.
Yeah, he is no slouch. He's not a guy we see up at the front very often anymore. And that's not a discredit to his skill. He's just been in a bunch of bad positions throughout the year. You know, getting wrecked early or making contact. It hasn't really been his fault. I remember during the Winter Series, he was my biggest competitor, trying to not run me off the road in a dirty way, but we were bumping, rubbing fenders, and really driving the wheels off each other. He is one talented driver.
Troy Haight for the 4th position. I tell you what, I am really impressed here. Knocking on wood, I believe we've only had 2 cautions here tonight. One for the spin of Braden Carroll, who's back up to running now in the 6th position as he's just come around Will Horsler. Carroll running now back in the middle of the top 10. The second caution was for the stage break. I mean, we are not that far into this race, only about 45 minutes or so. And we could be done within the hour, potentially.
Yeah, when we were in the Winter Series, we went to race flag to flag. You know, no cautions for either stage break. So, flag to flag in that race, no cautions at all. These are a clean bunch of drivers. And we've been broadcasting the series for over a year now, and I'm sure you all know that. These guys know what they're doing.
Yeah, a bunch of talents out here on the racetrack. Will Wursler just ahead of A.J. Digby. Hunter Waters, Tim Knott all there. Actually, Tom Wilhite's back there as well. That's going to be the 7th through the 11th position on this Speedway. The last great Coliseum living up to the moniker here tonight is these guys have really battled it out and done it in a very clean way. Even watching packs of cars going after each other, not a ton of contact yet. There's still 82 laps to go, and quite frankly, potentially another fresh set of tires to go on these cars.
Yeah, what you were saying last night, discretion is the better part about it. These guys know that full well, and then it goes all out the window at about 10 laps to go. These guys know when to put the fight on and know when to win. So 10 laps to go or so, I definitely think this thing.
Wonder if Will Wursler
or dogfight for second place, in case you don't want the round news.
That is correct. The Bizzle Bowl 200 presented by our very own. Will Wursler has fallen back to the 10th position. Now he's inside of the 41 of Tim Knott. One of my favorite paint jobs, Tim Knott, the Gunskins machine. Take a look at the roof of that race car. The numbers are on backwards.
They are. And I always thought they should point outside to the fans. Not only do the spotters stand outside where the fans sit, but the fans sit out there. I think the numbers should point to them.
Yeah, well, the original reason for that was on the racetrack, sometimes you couldn't see the numbers on the door. So when they were doing hand scoring of these races, all the people, the ladies that worked in the scoring tower sat on the inside of the racetrack right above the start-finish line. They would be able to see the numbers on the roof. That's how they would be able to score things. In the current day and age of timing and scoring loops and all sorts of loop data and everything else, yeah, make the numbers point to the fans. Especially those like Bristol get out towards the wall. You can go half a race without seeing the number of the guy that you're trying to follow.
Yeah, and not only that, especially in some of these tracks. Now, Bristol is an incredibly fast track, but in the terms of pure mile an hour, it's not one of the best tracks on the schedule. You can absolutely make out the cars the whole way around the lap. You can easily follow a car. So yeah, point them out to the fans and make it easier for people who are new to the sport to get into it, pick a favorite driver. I like the paint scheme. I like the way that number looks. If they can see it easier, it helps them decide better.
Kevin Nick running in the second position, but John Avila is going to be right there. Andrew Moore Jr. is backing these two cars up to him. I'm not sure how much of it is they're catching more and how much of it is more may just be kind of backing the pace down a little bit. Because if we don't get a caution, we still have to go another 70 laps on these tires. And they've already gone almost 40.
Yeah, but they went 90 laps on the set of tires before. It's another 10. It's an extra set in the box for the green-white checker tonight.
Well, for some of these guys, the difference in that is, do you pass everybody? Are you making passes, or are you the one getting passed because you're spun around backwards like Braden Carroll was? Sometimes that tight becomes snap oversteer late in the run.
Yeah, but that's one of the things, especially if you have a slightly higher end wheel. I don't want to say high end wheel because you can feel it on some lower end stuff too. Basically anything better than what you've got at your personal sim rig.
Got it.
You can feel when the car is about to snap oversteer. It kind of gets really light in the steering right before it snaps, and you can kind of catch it. Usually you can catch it with the throttle before you have to put counter steer into it. if you're a really, really attentive driver, you can definitely get a handle on it. And I don't want to say Braden Carroll's not an attentive driver. I just want to say little lapse in judgment, lapse in thinking when he spun that car around.
James Watson.
I see the comment on the screen from James Watson, and I just want to say thanks for watching, buddy.
Yeah, you should have been here earlier when we were talking about it.
I don't wreck when I do this.
Okay, we're back to interesting things here, Patrick. I am seeing on my timing and scoring screen, I'm going to bring this down here just so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm seeing 15 minutes left in this race and 60 laps to go.
Now, by the math, as long as we don't get another caution, we'll finish this race at the advertised distance.
By the math.
What I know about Bristol, yeah, by the math, we'll do the Larry McReynolds math now.
It could be. I believe Watson is blowing you kisses in the comments now, Patrick.
Well, he better have some sausage-filled tennis balls for me.
Oh, that was a whole nother off-air discussion that was going on over the course of the day today. Big news for the National Racing Network. May 6th and 7th. The Spec Corvette Series that we've had on the left coast is coming back to the East Coast. A North versus South shootout at Virginia International Raceway. That is going to be a pile of Spec Corvettes around VIR. I just hope the cell phone signal is good enough that we can get these guys on the air, because my goodness, that is going to be awesome.
If you can't get me behind a camera, I still might just follow you down to go see those guys rip around that track. It's a fantastic facility, fantastic cars. I mean, almost bone stock Corvettes. It's like spec Miatas with actual horsepower. It's freaking awesome.
You know what? If you want to go down to that one, we may have to work something out, because I will not be physically in attendance at that one. This will be a remote production. My kid graduates from college the night before, and it's Cinco de Mayo. That could be the most hungover broadcast we ever do. Just kidding, Spec Corvette guys. But I'm going to be making that 3.5-hour drive from State College, PA, back to Bucks County the morning of, and then we're going to get these guys on the air. But I'll tell you what, I can't wait, because the sound of those V8s echoing around VIR is just going to be incredible.
You know, that's a track I've never been to, but I definitely want to go down there and pay my respects. Maybe grab an acorn from the new oak tree. We'll plant one right in the backyard here in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Or I'm in Berks County.
Yeah,
I just moved
Berks,
here.
yeah.
I don't know where I am yet. We'll grow 2 acorns. We'll have one in Bucks, one in Berks.
Yes. The battle between Kevin Dick and Johnny Avila is still fantastic. Actually, we got another good one brewing here on the Speedway as well. We'll bring you up the side-by-side. This one's going to be Tyler Seville going to work on Troy Haight. Braden Carroll going to be right there as well. It's going to be 4th, 5th, and 6th on the Speedway. Already, though, about half a racetrack behind. These leaders are setting an absolutely blistering pace. And the fastest in the lot right now is Andrew Moore Jr., who has 3/4 of a second over this fight for second.
Yeah, Andrew Moore Jr. is just looking in that rearview mirror and going, Okay, boys, you keep fighting it out. I'll sit here and watch the cars get smaller behind me.
Here you go.
Not anymore, though.
Oh,
They're
there we
single
go.
file, and Johnny Avila is going to catch him.
So, Patrick, this race will not run to time. I am seeing 1 hour and 4 minutes left on the official. Good to go there.
I think your software is a little screwed up tonight.
You know what? I think that's actually giving us a calculation of like about how much time is left until the checker, which is actually really handy now that I'm looking at it. About 10 minutes away from the end of this race. In fact, 10 minutes and 40 seconds is what the software is telling us right now. With 42 to go, we've run 66 laps. We still have another 30 to go before we get to where these guys were at the end of the last run. What becomes the thought process here? Because, my goodness, Johnny Avila has turned on the jets.
Yeah, Johnny Avila is going to be absolutely chasing down Andrew Moore Jr. just like a homing missile. And he's got his sights set. He's now running the opposite line of Andrew Moore Jr. That is the biggest thing. You can't run the same line as the guy you're trying to pass. And he's found a ton of grip, ton of speed on the low line, and I think he's going to get it done.
Well, in the pre-race, these guys were talking about not wanting to wear out the right front. That was going to be the big concern for them. Are you going to burn off a little bit more tire running that inside lane?
No, you were actually going to burn off less in all of my experience here at the Bristol Motor Speedway.
Where does lap traffic come into play here? This is the first one of Tim Knott, currently running in the 10th position, just ahead of your race leader. But you can see Andrew Moore not able to get around and, quite frankly, not making up a ton of time. That gap is staying pretty steady, 2.5 car lengths. Johnny Avila, in fact, going to have a crack inside for the race lead.
Yeah, he's going to use that lap traffic just as a pick and get right around Andrew Moore Jr. Andrew Moore is not going to go out without a fight, though. He was trying to cross over Johnny Avila there.
.24 points is currently the gap. Now, again, that is excluding stage points that are earned. But Johnny Avila has already picked up 10 of those as well here tonight. Braden Carroll picking up the other 10. It's not a huge gap, though, because you go back 10 to 1 from first to 10th positions.
Yeah, when everyone you're fighting for the championship is sitting up there and getting stage points as well, oh dear. I'm seeing the comment as it comes up on the screen.
We're here for you, buddy. Just ahead of the race leader, Will Worsler battling Braden Carroll. This is 7th and 8th position. Hunter Waters is right there in 9th as well. Troy Haight in 6th. These guys are only, gosh, about a second and a half ahead of the race leader. You can see Johnny Avila towards the back of the shot there. Johnny Avila could lap all the way up to the top 5 before this race is over.
Yeah, I'd believe it. It's almost like when I was playing the old NASCAR games on the Xbox. I'd set the difficulty to easy and just lap the entire field. That seems like what Johnny Avila's doing is just playing with easy mode on right now.
Yeah, it's sort of the top 4 that are doing that at this point. Andrew Moore Jr., 7/10 of a second back of Johnny Avila. Kevin Dick, 3 seconds back of the race leader. Tyler Seville, 6 seconds back. Everybody else is in danger of potentially being lapped by Johnny Avila here. Avila has come around Braden Carroll in the 9th position.
Yeah, you can see Johnny Avila, the way he was just weaving through those cars. He is on another level tonight, just locked in the zone.
Well, and I tell you what, here's where it really becomes important. The next car up on the list is Hunter Waters in the 7th position. Whoever is the lucky dog will have a chance to get back on the lead lap, make a pit stop, and get the fresh rubber and be one of only 6 or 7 cars on the lead lap. If he gets all the way up to lapping Will Worsler, however, that means Hunter Waters ends up either trapped a lap down or, oh, and there it is, caution is out, yellow flag on the speedway. Trouble for Richard Fletcher. The first car 1 lap down is going to be the 24 of Braden Carroll. Let's take a look here and see what happened to the 43 as he was coming back out onto the race course. This was actually just ahead of the race leaders. Well, maybe it was not Fletch then that had the issue. Doesn't look like it was. Now, if you're the leaders, I would imagine you have to come down pit road this time, no? Yeah, here they're, all the leaders are, well, let's see, the lights were still red at the entrance to pit lane. I would imagine the iRacing spotter is going to tell them that they are clear to come down pit lane, however. Two tires make almost no difference in the iRacing platform, at least they haven't in the past. So I would imagine these will be 4-tire stops. Unless you're going to try something crazy for strategy to try and just leapfrog the leaders. But crew around already to the left side on Johnny Avila's machine. He will be down and away. 14.6 seconds, 14.3 for Andrew Moore Jr. Tyler Seville at a 14.9. Kevin Dick 15 flat. AJ Digby 14.1. One guy electing to stay out on the racetrack. And that is the 24 of Braden Carroll. He will now come down pit road this time. Yeah, I wonder if we're going to get, is Carroll the only car that's going to potentially not have a penalty here? Let's pick up Johnny Avila and see if we can't get a word in here with the pilot of the number 63 machine. And Johnny, a little bit of a confusion up for us in the booth up here. It looked like the red lights were on. Did you get the call that pit lane was open?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was open. No issues.
So we're just seeing, goofy stuff here. What do you think, though? Because now we're going to have a 20 or so lap dash to the finish here. And everybody's going to have fresh sneakers to head out on the dance floor.
Yeah, I don't know. Andrew and Kevin have shown some good short run speed, so I'll have to fucking buckle down and go for it.
All right, buddy. Thank you very much for coming in. We'll drag you back to the team booth here. I love talking to Johnny Avila.
Demonetized!
It was only one, I think. I don't think I spit one out yet.
So we can get away with the PG-13 label then as we're getting ready to go back to green.
Green flag in the air, yellow home. Go ahead and crank it up. Restart for Johnny Avila. Even better restart for Tyler Seville. He's going to hold on to second. And he goes new fastest lap of the race. This thing is not over yet.
That is the most stressed out I've ever heard Johnny Avila. That wasn't the usual, very bubbly, happy-go-lucky Johnny Avila we're used to. I wonder if if the pressure's on him tonight.
Oh, caution is out. Trouble on the racetrack. Let's see. It may be the 52 of Kevin Dick. Taking a look at the replay. Oh, little sideways, little slide. And that's going to be enough to bring out the caution. Does not hit anything, but it will put us under the caution. About the only saving grace there for Kevin Dick. There's only 8 cars left on the lead lap. He's not actually going to lose that much time.
Yeah, it's a good thing that we were a little jumpy on the caution button tonight because Kevin Dick is still back in this fight. Now, I'm not going to say a bad call there because, yeah, we're going to have one hell of a race one more time to go for a restart.
Yeah, but the big change here is in the points. A 24-point gap. That is a big number for Kevin Dick to have to try to overcome here the deeper we get into this. And Hunter Waters in third, 44 points back. Tyler Seville getting a little handsy with his teammate here. Let's see if we can bring Tyler up into the booth with us here. Tyler, we're seeing you're having a little bit of fun there with teammate Johnny Avila. He sounded a little bit stressed out when we talked to him under the last caution. What are you thinking here as we're going to get a green flag with about 10 to go?
He should be stressed because I'm going to hit that intimidate button and see if we can't get him a little loose.
You know, I was just talking about the old NASCAR games earlier, and I guess it's time we get a LAN party set up.
Right?
Yeah, the intimidate button on that 63 machine usually goes in the opposite order. Are you saying you're not going to wreck him, you're just going to try to rattle his cage?
Yeah, I'll say that. We'll see what ends up happening, though, but that'll be what I say publicly.
Tyler Seville, a driver tonight who wants those ramen noodles.
Absolutely.
All right, buddy. Good luck the rest of the way. We'll put you back in.
That was the least enthusiastic absolutely I have ever heard. Doesn't seem anyone likes my price tonight.
That's absolutely hilarious. Now, if you know you're going to get this restart with, it'll be 10 laps to go because we're going to come around to 11 to go. They should get the 1 to go signal this time by. Does your thought process on which lane you want change on this restart? Looks like we're seeing Johnny and Tyler starting to make that early commitment. Well, now here comes Johnny. He wants the inside lane, it looks like.
I was just about to say, if I want those ramen noodles tonight, I am doing the opposite of whatever Johnny Avila does. We know Johnny is ahead in the points. He doesn't need any more Scroobian teammates. I want to go out there and win this race and put up a fight to him myself.
Well, and if you're Tyler Seville, I would imagine it's, I mean, you can see him. He's hanging back a hair. He wants it, even if Johnny, he knows Johnny's going to get the jump because he's going to dictate where the restart happens in the zone. But that's not the same as I can get myself a little bit of a kind of a head start here. You kind of set yourself back. As soon as he goes, you go. And you can sort of get away with kind of playing some games on the restart. Maybe that's what we saw a little bit of there because Johnny Avila absolutely checked out. Seville highlighted handsome. He's got Andrew Moore Jr. looking inside.
Tyler Seville, he was talking smack on Facebook last week. Yeah, I want to go see him out there going putting the fight to that 63 car. I want to see a dogfight like what they've been barking up.
Well, he's going to have to get to work if he wants to make it happen here because we are down to 8 laps to go, but these are going to go by very quickly. Overtime is a thing here in the Sim Racers Club. So we can have multiple green, white, and checkered attempts. New fastest lap of the race, Kevin Dick, 14:59.
Man on a mission. He is playing damage control tonight. He got back there causing that 2 cautions ago, but Maybe try and make this a top 5 night. I don't know if he's going to be able to get the win, but definitely salvage it.
Tell you what, Tyler Seville's the man on the mission right now. He just went fastest lap of the race at a 14.513. And that is back-to-back new fastest laps of the race for Tyler Seville. The gap's at about a car length and a half. Here we go. Any kind of a mistake from Johnny Avila, and Tyler Seville is there to capitalize. Now the question becomes, can Seville get to the back bumper? Oh, he's within half a car length down the backstretch. 2 to go, this time by the start-finish line. The gap is 1 car length at the line. Seville closes right up in the middle of 1. Here's the
down to
move.
the inside.
Inside, Seville wants a crack. White flag is out. Big wiggle for Seville off of 4. He may have one shot. Maybe gonna have one more go at it through 3 and 4. Here's the run to the inside. Off the final corner, checkered flag in the air. Oh, Avila's backwards and wins it. Avila spins off at turn 4, crosses the start-finish line backwards and gets the win at Bristol.
Man, I thought he was playing Gran Turismo out there, because that's my signature move, man. You go out there, you spin it out across checkered flag, let everyone know that I had time to spin out in front of you. I was so far ahead.
Oh, what a run from Johnny Avila here tonight. And he is going to absolutely burn him down. So now they're going to line all these cars up and just burn the place down together here. Are they booting the crowd?
I believe so. This is like that scene in Cars where the cars in the grandstand start flashing their headlights at them.
Yes. Oh my goodness. While they're doing that stuff, let's show you our race results today. From the Bizzle Bowl 200, Johnny Avila picking up the win over Tyler Seville, AJ Digby, Andrew Gore Jr., and Will Woodson rounding out the top 5. Hunter Waters, Kevin Dick, Brady Carroll, Troy Haight, and Tim Knott complete the top 10. 11 to 16 tonight, all going to be 1 or more laps down. That includes Thomas Wilhite, Lee Campbell, Richard Fletcher, John Moeller, Daniel Pinkston, and J.D. Wardlow. That's hilarious, just hearing engines absolutely grenade on the front straightaway.
I just want to say that while Johnny Avila is doing that, he is also probably on his mobile phone on Facebook, because about 2 seconds ago he just liked my post on there. So, multi-talented Johnny Avila, able to distracted drive and do a burnout, spin out across checkered flag and everything.
That's hilarious. Let's see here. Let's pick up where we would like our instant replays to begin. Let's see. Yeah, we can go here. Let's get our race winner up here into the victory lane room here, and we'll bring Johnny Avila in to chat with us here. I'll tell you what, man, absolutely incredible race tonight, and you darn near gave the thing away off of turn 4.
I'll be honest, I saw Tyler coming for it, so I'm like, screw it, I'm flooring it. If I have to spin out, I'll spin out.
Gran Turismo style, man. Hell yeah.
You really wanted to win 480 packets of ramen noodles that bad?
Yeah, man. Food is food. Give me them ramen noodle packets.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Wait,
all fair.
actually?
Yeah, all fair.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to get your address because
I had no idea.
the prize for tonight's race is $50 worth of ramen noodles, courtesy of Patrick Byrne.
Oh my God, that's when I joined the practice today. Every single one of my teammates, they all were like, "Don't tell Johnny what the prize is. Don't tell Johnny what the prize is," because they know I am a fat ass.
My goodness.
Ooh, I can't wait to tell my fiance what we're having Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Ramen, ramen,
Oh, you have a
ramen.
year's supply. You have a year and a half supply if you eat one pack in a day.
If you eat, if
That's the greatest prize ever! Oh my God!
I'm glad the guy who actually won it is actually happy about it. Everyone else seems so disappointed by it. They didn't want to win it. Oh
I
man.
am stoked! I'm having a ramen noodle party at my place.
this is the best Victory Lane interview we've ever done.
This is incredible.
All right, so
Oh
now
my God.
let's try to put the train back on the rails here just a little bit, Johnny, before we run out of time to talk to you. We get these two back-to-back cautions late in the race, and you had the fresh set of sneakers on it, but it was not necessarily a given. Tyler was right there. Andrew and Kevin were both really quick tonight. Those guys were up there on fresh tires. This was not going to be easy one way or the other, not just your teammate that was going to give you a hard time.
Tyler's not my teammate right now. Have you seen the way we've been racing each other? And I knew if he had a shot, he was going to go for it. I swear, the man put on Jaws music in the background, and he kept going closer and closer, and I was driving as hard as I possibly could. Like, that was everything I got. And he just kept closing on me a little bit. I'm just waiting. Where's the hit? Where's the hit? Where's the hit? And luckily, he got loose. But, short runs were not my strength tonight at all. My thing was being patient, wrapping the bottom, and then just coming to people later.
Well, I tell you what, you did it well. You open up a big gap in the points here as well. Congratulations. Enjoy the ramen. We'll have to get a picture of it once it arrives on your doorstep here. But before we let you go, do all those big sponsor plugs and thank yous.
Well, I gotta thank Patrick for all the ramen noodles. Oh man, and every single one of my teammates, even Tyler, I love them all. Just big shout out to each and every single one of them. AJ had a great showing today, so proud of the race that he put together today, and then everybody that puts this league together week in and week out.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us here for a minute in the booth, and yeah, enjoy your year's worth of ramen noodles. Time to bring up our runner-up finisher tonight here, Mr. Tyler Seville. And man, I'll tell you what, Tyler, you guys did not sound overly excited. Johnny about had a stroke. He is so excited with the victory prize here this evening. But I'll tell you what, you gave him a heck of a run for it here.
I know. I was just telling people in our Discord that I felt like if you put us straight up, that I would not have been able to make up that time there in those last couple laps after I cleared the 77. But I was able to and made him work for his money tonight in that prize.
Yeah, making him work for food, that's for sure. And I'll tell you what, you were really putting some heaters in as well. I mean, we were on lap 194, you set a new fastest lap. 195, you set a new fastest lap. Did you ultimately maybe burn off the tires a little bit, and that's what caused the loose off of 4 coming to the white?
Probably, but I knew I was only going to get one shot. If I had to do it over again, I probably would have waited until the last lap. But you never know. If I don't get loose, I probably stay a little bit closer and get another shot at it. But everything would have had to go perfectly to even have a shot to beat him there.
Yeah, and it almost did because he did junk himself off of turn number 4, trying to make sure he stayed in front of you. But had to be a little bit comical seeing your teammate sliding across the line and you're looking straight into his eyes.
I know that's not the first time that's happened, whether it be for a stage win or a race win. He can't handle this Chubby's car being behind him on the track, it looks like.
Now, to plug your sponsor once again, you think he's got a little bit of chubby thinking about all that ramen noodles that's going to come to his doorstep?
He should. He should be excited for it.
He did describe himself as a fat ass in the Victory Lane interview, so we'll take it. Man, Tyler, congratulations on the runner-up finish tonight here. And what the hell, give the sponsor one more plug and do any of the other thank yous you got to get in here as well.
Yeah, shout out to Chubby's my sponsor. And then shout out to the team. We were 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6 today, so it was a good night for WWR.
Yes, sir, it was. Thank you very much for coming up into the booth with us here. We appreciate you coming to hang out. And third place tonight is going to belong to Mr. A.J. Digby, a guy we have not talked enough to this season, quite frankly, putting on a good show tonight to come home third. Talk us through the night, because you were kind of a mid-pack car for a lot of that race. Got the fresh set of tires on late, and that thing just seemed absolutely hooked up for that final last couple of runs after the restart.
Yeah, I felt pretty good all day. Really felt like I was more so a long run car than I was a short run car, or I guess medium runs wasn't very good, but in the long run, I felt like I was pretty good. So, in both long stages, I was making up ground towards the end of it, right before the caution. I feel bad about hitting Braden there. Definitely didn't mean to, and said sorry. Truly meant it. Did not mean to hit him, but. Able to bounce back and have a good rest of the day coming up from the back again, and just again felt like I adapted well to the track and the environment that was there for me. Tyler was saving up tires pretty well on the bottom, so I ran some on the bottom. It wasn't perfect for me, so I kind of found a decent spot in the mid, and that helped me save tires. And then once I had a little bit more saved on the long run, I was able to rip the high line and make up some time that way, make up some ground. And then off of that last caution, just had a good restart, was able to keep my nose onto the outside and get around and end up with a podium finish.
Well, I tell you what, man, great drive to go back to front here in this one, because that also happened early when we still had a bunch of cars on the lead lap. Take advantage when the cautions presented themselves late. Congratulations on the podium. Hopefully we get to talk to you more as this season rolls on. But before we let you go, do all those big sponsor plugs and thank yous.
Yeah, so my car at UMU Esports, work at my union in the esports department, and very happy with that job, that car. And as I mentioned before, it's I love having the purple on the car. I have to give a shout out.
Nice
I don't
color.
know if they're watching, but my grandma and my dad and family at home, last Sunday, my grandpa passed away. And so last week I wasn't able to race and was at home with family, and not the reason that you want to be home, but it was good to be with family. And so a huge shout out to my grandma and family, if they're watching or if this gets sent to them later. Love you guys. And thanks for always supporting. They watched a lot of races in their time, and I'm planning to sponsor next week's race because of it. So love you guys, love family, and so happy to come away with the podium tonight. Yeah, I was hoping that Tyler would get a little bit of a heftier dive on Johnny there at the end and maybe give me a chance at it. But 1, 2, 3, and then a 5, 6 finish is always a good way to finish the race, especially a long green flag one here that we had at Bristol. So thank you guys in the booth for everything as always. I love watching these races back, and thanks for Sam and everybody up top spotting and running the league. They do a fantastic job, and I think it's pretty evident by how green this race was here at Bristol.
Absolutely, and our condolences to you and your family. A lot of healing thoughts as we head into the springtime season here, AJ. Look forward to talking to you a little bit more here as the season rolls on. And man, I'll tell you what, Patrick, we got a show. Not only did we get a fantastic Bizzle Bowl 200, but this race was fantastic all the way around.
Oh, yeah, I'm glad I picked this one to sponsor. There was a couple races on the schedule I was looking to sponsor, and just Bristol called his name out to me, and within seconds of deciding I was going to sponsor Bristol, I was like, Bizzle Bowl 200, what can go wrong there? It was a fantastic race. The prize is going to be even better. Johnny's interview was awesome, and I can't wait to get out here next week and actually race with these guys and hopefully kick some ass there at the Daytona Road Course.
Yeah, I know you're putting at least a couple of laps in practice here, trying to get that final.
Oh, there's been
chicane
well
figured
over
out.
1,000 laps of practice, so
You know what?
these guys got something coming for them.
I'm looking forward to it. Maybe we'll discuss during the week if we're going to have you in the booth or if we'll just kind of bring you in sporadically under green and try to screw you up a little bit. But, man, I am looking forward to that next week at Daytona. Then we come into a week off before a 3-week stretch to round out the season. That will include, 4-week stretch to close out the season. Martinsville, presented by Andrew Moore Jr., Talladega Super Speedway, the Dover Motor Speedway, and the Kansas Speedway Oval to round out the spring of 2023 season for the Sim Racers Club. Whole lot coming up tomorrow here on the National Racing Network. We will start things off at 3:30 p.m. in the East with the Lotus 49s from Laguna Seca. Watching those cars dive through the corkscrew is going to be absolutely epic. Follow it up at 4:30 p.m. with the Lotus 79s from Road America, and then the Camel GT Happy Hour coming to you on Friday afternoon, 5 p.m. in the East to kick off your holiday weekend. But with that, time for Bizzle and I to get the heck on out of here. For everybody here at the National Racing Network that makes these shows happen, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us. We will talk to you all tomorrow afternoon from Laguna Seca. Have a great night, everybody.